Greetings and welcome to another episode of the Hourlings podcast project. My name's Martin Wilsey, and tonight is happy hour. We are topic free, and we have adult beverages in the house. So, how's everybody doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good too. I just got back from taking my wife to get her COVID vaccination, so she's
Very
really
cool.
happy about that. And
First or second?
first.
First, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've had two now. My condition made me eligible to go earlier.
Yeah.
And the second one, it was a little rough. I had like a fever, but not complaining because I know we're all
Yeah,
great.
how long did it last?
A little more than a day for me. I definitely had the whole thing going on, chills, couldn't sleep, all that. But you expect it, you prepare for it. Not a big deal.
It's a big histamine reaction for that second dose. Our friend David, I'm sure you remember Angela. She got it because she's a teacher. She got the second dose. The second dose is the hammer. A lot of people are having that histamine. My dad.
Well, I'm really proud to see how fast they're cranking them through. They must have run 1,000 people through there just in the time I was sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah, well, in fact,
quite the efficient operation.
Fairfax County has done 250,000 so far, and they've got about a little under 100,000 left for the 1A and 1B.
Nice.
So in 1948, New York had a measles outbreak, and they did 6 million people in 7 days.
Wow.
So there are faster rates that can be achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. When
there's a whole
the drive is there, so it's all good.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will say that's a whole point in my novel series that if I ever get to the later books, you'll learn that there are other ways of distributing it, like maybe ice cream.
Free ice cream with your shot.
Ice cream and the virus cure. Yeah.
So there's more good news this week.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's starting to rock on his novel.
Oh yeah.
I have actually just finished yesterday the 6 weeks I took off in between finishing the first draft and starting the second draft, and I'm cooking now.
Nice.
It's going really well.
Awesome.
It's really interesting. I went back and read all the old feedback from the first couple of chapters I ran through Writers Group,
Mm-hmm.
and it still holds, man. Still really good stuff that's coming through pretty good.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I mean,
It's really funny. I had completely forgotten about how everybody said, "Oh man, she's eating too much." she had pizza for breakfast and then an egg McMuffin, and then it's really funny. I was reading through. I go, "Oh yeah, she really did eat too much." So I'm cutting all that down. It's really
Right.
I tend to do that with characters crying. I don't when I'm writing my first draft, I don't feel like my characters cry that much. But then I get feedback that, oh, your characters cry too much. I'm like, okay, and then I see it in the next draft and I just tone it back. But yeah, the first go, I don't notice it. So there's always a couple of things, I guess.
Yeah, my first draft always has a lot of food.
Yeah,
I
there
always
you go.
notice that because I like putting bacon in my novel.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
Novels
I
are
don't
good.
cry often. I want that on the record.
No.
It's not like a reflection of myself.
No, Shay, you're awesome. You're awesome.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. You too. Right back at you. Speaking of awesome, what are those cars behind you?
Oh my goodness. They told me not to do this.
Who's that?
Look, just because I drive that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I love you guys.
What?
You hate the car?
Yes,
Doesn't matter. I love you
personal
all.
Tesla.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. What's so bad about a Tesla? What's so controversial about a Tesla?
Oh, people don't like them. Oh, well,
Why?
okay, fine. But it's an American car. I'm using American energy.
No. It's because they cost so much. Is
Oh,
why
okay.
people don't like them.
Yeah.
Well,
I get
Because
that.
we're all jealous that we don't have one or
Yeah,
can
there you
afford
go.
one that
There
expensive.
you go. But this
Right.
this is a 3. It's one of the cheapest Teslas you can get. It's can go as little as 35. So
Yeah, and how much did you pay for it?
I have performance. It is a little bit faster.
Yeah, so if you can afford 90 grand for a car, pay it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have nothing to complain about. My car needs customized technology to do a hand control.
All right.
And that cost like over about $130,000. So I'm like, I've been training to get my driver's license in this this van that already has it, but I don't own the van, obviously. I just train in the van.
Right.
I've been doing that for like 2 years, and then I finally said to my mom, like, what is the point of this? Because as soon as I get my license, we're not going to be able to afford a car, and then I'm going to have to renew the license without having any, I'm going to lose my skills. I'm going to get rusty. I won't be able to drive.
Right.
So I've kind of hit the pause button on that until I hit the jackpot, with my writing or whatever.
So how do you have to renew your license more often than I do? It's like every 5 years for me.
Yeah, but we can't afford it in 5 years, So
Well,
you can afford to renew your license.
Yeah, but then I have to keep. Yeah, I mean, I could, but again, I feel like I'm putting in hours to train that I'm not going to be able to use them.
Oh, they don't test you again.
No,
they
they
don't test me at the DMV again.
No.
I think they will with me.
Oh,
I think that they. Yeah, I think I'm special. I think I'm special.
For mine, I got a driver's license when I was 17, and then I went to Montreal, and I went to school there, and I didn't need a car. I didn't drive at all in Montreal. I lived downtown. So I got back, and my license had expired. I had to go through the whole thing again, and I had to retrain. But I mean, I've been driving for lots of years now, and it's pretty good. But now, I tell you, this puppy right there, the best thing about it, you go dunk, dunk, and it'll get you there. You don't do anything. It does all the work. That's what I love. It'll stop at stoplights. It'll keep in its lane. It'll adaptively cruise. It's awesome.
Until Skynet takes over and runs you off the road.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's it. And those online updates, it's like, this update will now have you be our slave.
I worry more about an update just having a simple bug in it. And then suddenly something doesn't work.
Right.
And,
well,
that's a hassle.
It is
the more
a per car
complicated the plumbing, the easier it is to stop up the drains.
Well, yeah, but that is the good thing about electric car, because the electric motor is a lot simpler than an internal combustion engine. But you're right, Marty. That's why I am happy that I'm not the first one to get those fixes. Somebody else is the beta tester, and I'm the one that just enjoys the fix.
Although I've never really had that happen. Except for back in the day, this is a while back, I had a TiVo by an update. For whatever reason, the update didn't take or something happened.
Oh, yeah.
It was halfway through the update, and the TiVo was never operational again after that.
Right.
Right, but that's the only time I've ever seen something like that.
Yeah, that happened to me once with my TiVo, and I found a company online that'll just send you a new hard drive with the TiVo operating system.
Right, Weak Knees. They're a really good company.
Yeah, that's it.
Weak Knees.
And
yeah, they're awesome.
Not only did I get a new TiVo drive, I got one that held like, a year's worth of shows. It was crazy.
Right, right. No, I've worked with them a lot. I got not quite a terabyte, but half a terabyte in my TiVo by the end of it.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was funny with TiVo. Basically, you got a Linux box with, a really small drive in it. And why a small drive?
Yeah.
Recording TV shows. Why don't you put a huge drive in there? It's not going to be that much.
All right, here's the question. Are VHSs going to come back into style the way that records did?
Oh,
they are already. They're
really?
Very
How?
collectible.
Why?
They're
hey, I have a Betamax.
And I have one too. It doesn't rewind, but I have it.
But you like antiques.
Yes, I do.
What I don't like about videotape is I never felt like they were really durable. I mean, I much prefer DVDs.
Yeah.
And I still have a bunch.
I don't know. All right. So like 2 years ago, I went and visited my grandparents in Florida, and they had like a singular 10-inch like TV with a VCR player, and they had one movie, and it was Disney's Pocahontas on VCR. And I put it in, and I still it was like a transformative experience for me. Like I still remember watching that movie. I don't know what it was, like the flicker or like the poor quality, the graininess. I think it's gonna make a comeback. I liked it.
Yeah, well, there is something to be said.
Hipsters are bringing everything back.
I'm going on record saying it. They're coming back.
But I will admit that at some point in the very near future, I'm going to be liquidating many of my assets And I have a huge collection of Betamax Doctor Who's that I may just put on eBay.
Do you have any
Word off eBay.
VHSs? I'll take them.
Yeah, no, well, they're Betamax.
Okay, but here's
Marty
the other
can take
thing.
them.
So there's like the artsy side of it, right? But then there's this weird archival historical side of it, of all these VHSs that never got adapted to DVD. That if we don't preserve them, they're just going to be gone forever and no one's going to see them again.
Original
I'm into
Star
that
Trek,
too.
Star Wars, the original Star Wars.
No, but those have been adapted. You can get them anywhere. I'm talking about like
No,
the weird ass like exercise videos that would never go to DVD.
the one where Hans shoots first. That's one of the
No,
first
you can
things
get
Luke
that.
changed.
I have a copy of that.
I'm sure. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure.
But not an official media.
The VHS is just an end product. I mean, the product that you want to save is the original master of any film.
Oh yeah.
Just as an FYI, the master of Citizen Kane was lost.
Oh wow.
Right. So there will never be a super duper 4K high quality version of Citizen Kane.
Because they also where do they so is it like the production companies that house these original film reels of
There's a rumor that Citizen Kane, which is some people did not think well of it at the time. The original master was sent back out to basically the film used silver as ingredient, and so you could recover some money by having the silver reclaimed.
Wow.
Somebody actually.
Well, it's sort of like Doctor Who. I mean, Doctor Who, all that stuff from the 60s, they just said, well, these 4-foot diameter videotapes that they used to film Doctor Who on, they're like, we need this for something else. So erase, and re-record. And all that stuff from the 1960s and some of the early 1970s was gone. And some of it has been recovered, but not all of it.
Yeah, I actually have a couple reel-to-reel videotapes of productions I did when I was studying film production in college.
Wow.
And I always keep my eye out for a reel-to-reel videotape player that's compatible with the tapes I have. One of these days I'll find one.
Yeah,
I'm not going to pay 10 grand for one, but one of these days I'll find one.
I would love to see those.
If I get impatient, maybe, and find a production company that does a conversion of reel-to-reel videotapes to DVDs, I might do that too.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Hope you do.
My dad was into all that kind of stuff growing up. And so a lot of my childhood was recorded on slides and on various reel-to-reel type film and stuff. But when my mom descended into dementia, she got rid of all of that stuff. So in a weird sense, it's like my entire childhood has been thrown away.
Oh, geez.
It's interesting. I had a family reunion once, and all my siblings were there, all 6 of us. And one of my brothers brought with him all of my dad's old slide decks. And my dad was really into photography and slides. And we had this incredible evening where we sat in my sister's place, and my brother had bought a slide projector. And the best part about this, we set the slide projector up and showed it in my sister's home theater on the wall. I set up a video camera to videotape the slide wall, and it caught the soundtrack of all the siblings talking about the pictures.
That's cool.
Oh, that's clever.
And it was hilarious. That is very
good.
Then when I got home, I converted it all to DVD, and I sent a copy to all my siblings.
That's a prized possession right there.
Very smart.
Yeah, really. It's like, now that you're making me think about it, I want to like dig through my crap and go find that and watch it again just to laugh.
But I will say this, I mean, a very interesting parallel to, not quite as tragic as yours, David, but I remember I was an early adopter of software engineering. I had a good old Commodore 64, and I wrote a bunch of programs for it. It was really cool. I loved it. I had the stuff on disk and everything. And then I left it to my brother, and he basically owned it when he moved down to Florida. And then he sold it, including all the software I wrote. So I never will have the software I wrote again. All my first programs, they're gone into the ether, probably wiped.
Or your friend.
Hello world. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did poke. A lot of poking and peeking in that Commodore 64. I could do some
Yeah, it's
cool
really
stuff.
interesting. I often wonder where all my crap went that I had as a kid.
Mm.
And it's really funny because I keep buying stuff that I had when I was a kid. It's like, it's like I'm glad my
Yeah.
wife loves me this much because she just anybody else would totally eye roll all the time.
My
Right.
mom is, she hates clutter, so she's the one that will, throw it away, donate it behind your back. So a lot of my stuff I think is gone, but I do try to save what I can.
I'm convinced that you guys.
I'm gonna grab the thing that I got last. I'll hang on a second.
All right.
All right.
You guys have given me some story ideas. First of all, I think that all your childhood things disappear because the invisible house elves take them.
Okay. And
See
give them to
this?
other kids.
This is my Man from Uncle transistor radio
All right.
that turns into a gun.
What?
Wow.
That's so weird.
Oh,
It's the ultimate zombie apocalypse tool.
that is brilliant.
I never saw The Man from Uncle. I saw the novelizations of the series, but I
So
never saw.
I saw this on Facebook Marketplace, and I was lucky enough to be the first guy in, and I actually managed to get it. They had this. It's called the Agent Zero series. I had this one, and they had one that is like it looks like a camera that does the same thing. It turns into a handgun instead of a rifle. So
Right.
I remember playing with this thing forever as a kid, and I don't know what happened to it ultimately. You go off to college and stuff disappears.
Or it's the house elf. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's in really good condition. It's fun, and I love collecting that crap.
For me, it was Major Matt Mason, which was a toy sort of like G.I. Joe, but smaller. And of course, he had a lunar station. So I had the lunar station too. So
Yeah, I got a whole collection of GI Joes too.
I had oh yeah, well the GI Joes, we had GI Joes, but we had lots of original Star Wars action figures. Oh man, what a
I got a bunch of Star Wars stuff.
That stuff
like robots, little miniature robots.
Yeah,
I even have a poster somewhere that says advertising the Revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah, my brother has a baseball cap that says Revenge of the Jedi.
Nice.
Right, and then of course George Lucas decided that the Jedi's, are sort of spiritual and that they wouldn't be out for revenge. So
yeah, that's fun, and it's great being an old fart that can buy whatever I want now.
Oh yeah.
So I can collect all the stuff that
Don't tell my mom
I had as a kid and pay 10 times as much.
Don't tell my mom I buy whatever I want to. She's always saying I must save, but money burns in my pocket. I don't like the feeling of heavy wallets.
See, now me, I'm the opposite. I save like crazy. I'm throwing stuff away. I'm just trying to pare down and be simple, because that's expensive.
Well, you can always do both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm very excited because my agent has now sent out my hockey book that I sometimes talk about in this podcast.
Oh yeah.
To the editors, and so we've already gotten some responses of questions and engagement, which is a really good sign. And so fingers crossed, if they
definitely
give me a deal, then I'll have plenty to save. That would be great.
Aliens show up in the book.
What's that?
What chapter did the aliens show up in?
Oh, right. Yes, it is a sci-fi.
Yeah, no.
Sci-fi hockey.
Romance.
Now that's a great mashup.
Yeah.
Sci-fi hockey. Yeah. I will say this: the Deadliest Season movie about hockey. It is the only
my favorite sport. You know what my favorite team is? My favorite team is, my second favorite team is the Caps, so you don't need to, you know, be angry. My
Right.
first favorite team are the Hershey Bears, which
Right.
is, yeah,
Oh yeah.
an
I remember that.
AHL team.
Yeah.
And the reason I love them is because my family used to go to Hershey Park for Thanksgiving every year.
Oh yeah.
And one day my mom was like, you know, poor Matt, my brother, you know, he has to do all the girly stuff, like go to the chocolate factory and all that, which got him to a hockey game. And who fell in love with it? Me. And so I just
Oh, very
absolutely
cool.
loved it, and they started me out in loving the sport. So I'm a big
Very
fan.
cool.
I paid the subscription to watch their games, which have no one in attendance. You know.
Right. Oh yeah.
Good
Well, I mean,
stuff.
the
Have you
deadliest.
ever been to a Caps game?
I have, yeah. I went to one of the playoff games when they won the Stanley Cup. I was at the only game that they lost in the playoffs, actually. So I guess that was bad luck, and I never went back. I really,
Yeah, I went to one 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It was a lot of fun. I love watching hockey in person
yeah, it's
Right.
much better.
because it's so
Right.
fast.
I know.
Oh, we
it's
used
so
to
much
have the
better.
Whalers up in
to-
Hartford. Yeah.
Just look at the size of the arena and how fast those guys go. It's like crazy fast.
And of course, the Habs when I lived in Montreal. But I will say, the deadliest season, that movie about hockey was a very interesting one. But what the most interesting thing was, my mom was an extra. You can see my
Oh.
mom in that movie. And
That's
that's a nice thing
wonderful.
to remember because my mom recently passed away. So if you ever want to see my mom and what she looked like, watch the deadliest season. You're hockey fans, you.
Our condolences to your wonderful mom. And yeah, film is immortalizing her.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
For sports stories and science fiction, I've seen a few, but not many.
Yeah, it'd be a cool mashup. To all
Yeah, I'm
listeners.
trying to
Space
think
Jam,
of
I mean.
one. Can you think of any?
I mean, there's the
Jack
Space
Van-
Jam. Sorry?
Jack had one. It was I think it was part of his Alistair series
Mm.
about a team. It was a sport where they basically it was kind of like rugby, but it was on like a raised platform where you were running along beams and you were trying to push people off into the water below. And it was galactic. So your planet fielded a team, and if you won, you got to tour the galaxy. In the meantime, the second string became the team for the next year if you
Oh,
were
nice.
galaxy.
The only sports and sci-fi matchups I have seen are like racing. I've seen a couple of
No, there's
racing.
rollerball.
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 Good.
Field of Dreams. Does that fall in the category? Is that
Well,
fantasy?
that's urban fantasy.
Realism, I would call it.
And like I say, Space Jam, man. Come on. It's the Looney Tunes characters playing with basketball.
Did you guys see Alita, Battle Angel?
Yes, I like
Yeah,
that.
that's sports.
Mhm.
I just want to
It's kind of blood sports, gladiator style.
Right.
qualify Field of Dreams as a magical realism or slipstream and not urban
Hmm.
fantasy.
I would call that
Okay, that's
realism,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair. Well, yeah. I mean, there's
And-
also, I mean, the Hunger Games is kind of a sport, but
Oh, that's true.
it is.
That's death match.
Mhm.
Death Race 2000.
Mhm.
Oh, that was a good sport. In fact,
Go for the baby. Yeah.
Oh, and let's not forget the Queen's Gambit. Chess is a sport.
But is that sci-fi?
Yeah, but that's not sci-fi.
No, it's not.
it's not sci-fi.
It is not sci-fi. Definitely not.
Ender's Game.
That,
They
yeah.
had that sport, in the arena there. That was kind of fun.
And there was
Mhm.
actually a little element in the novel where the officers, you don't see much of them in the book except in interludes, but the officers were, in some respects, they're engaged in a program to kind of torture young people to create the military genius that they need. But the officers also had an appreciation for the intricacies of a sport that was effectively doomed. So there was a little element of that in some of the interludes that Orson Scott Card got across, and I thought that was interesting too. A doomed sport for one purpose.
And y'all never told me that Jack Daniels is poison. I come on here for these happy hours and I drink the raspberry whiskey or like the honey base,
Mhm.
whatever. Jack Daniels is straight up poison.
Mm.
It burns.
Yeah.
going down.
If you're gonna drink bourbon, I recommend Buffalo Trace. It's a good daily drinker.
Buffalo Trace. Is it what's is it got any flavor basing or?
It's a Kentucky bourbon. Classic, straight, very smooth Kentucky bourbon.
Okay.
It's a great value for how much it costs if you can find it.
I like these little mini bottles that I get at the ABC store. I mean, look at this. I can just,
Oh yeah.
make a night out of it.
Yeah. ABC is what we didn't do down here in Virginia because that's how our higher.
Is that now a national thing?
No, that's just.
I
Virginia.
love, really? Okay, so that's fascinating. I'm always like, when I go down to visit my grandparents in South Carolina, my other ones were in Florida, it's a different grandparent set. They have the Piggly Wiggly, and we love saying Piggly Wiggly. Especially, my brother and I used to love driving and pointing them out, but I wish that we had them up here. I like to go to like those local chains or whatever. They're cool.
Right.
Well, everywhere I live, everywhere around me, it's all chains.
Yeah.
In fact, some of the really cool, smaller places that were like family run and stuff, most of them have been pushed out by chains.
And there are tons of grocery chains. I mean, heck, we got.
That's sad. That's sad.
I'm just waiting
Yeah,
for
that's one of the
Albertsons
things
to
I
come
like
down
about
here.
Fredericksburg, where I used to live in Bristol. It was only chains. Any restaurant you wanted to go to was only chains. There's a ton of mom and pop restaurants in Fredericksburg
Right.
that
I absolutely
that
love.
are holding their own. Some of my favorites are still hanging on.
And one of my favorites, Stones Cove Kit Bar, the very first kit bar right here in Herndon, Virginia. Still going. Hope you guys can go out there. It's a great place. Got to try those flapjacks, man. They're good.
Yeah, my parents and I went to Costco the other day, and it was like a shopping center we frequent, and we saw like half of the stores were just gone, just like no sign of them.
Yeah, there's a ton of them that have just like closed up because they couldn't,
Really
including
sad.
my favorite used bookstore, in Old Town Manassas.
Crossroads.
Yeah, Crossroads
RIP.
closed. That's made me sad big time.
Yeah.
I had my first book signing there.
Yep.
As long as
It
my
looks-
kid survives, I'm good though.
Well, it looks like even the Barnes and Noble. We used to meet at the Barnes and Noble down there in Ashburn, and
Okay, well, here's
Don't
the question:
do that.
how much longer? Like, just taking away COVID, like it's not even calculating COVID. How much longer do you think bookstores are going to be a thing? Do you think that they're going to go extinct anytime soon, or no?
What duration are you talking about? I think
Like,
eventually
Like in the
You
next
will
50
have-
years.
only used bookstores.
50 years.
Mm.
In 50 years, I imagine it'll be just used bookstores.
Wow.
and I think you're right. There will be used bookstores.
And then even bookstores that sell retail books that are new will probably also sell used books. I think it's just going to be the commodity because
Also,
everybody buys them online now.
even in the near term, I think the model is going to change. I think the old Borders style superstore is probably on its way out. And what's on its way in is probably something like the Amazon bookstore, where you've got kind of curated content whose popularity has been proven in the, like the Amazon online store, and even informed by like regional knowledge about what people in your area are buying. That seems more likely to me. Speaking of which, do you know what the top booksellers are right now? Not counting Amazon.
Walmart and Target.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
And the sad thing about that is, as much as I like Walmart and Target, they only carry a very limited number of books.
Yeah, they only I think they only carry
Best
like the
sellers.
top 25 or top 50, popular sellers.
Right.
Yeah, so then the popular books get more exposure, which they have to make them even more popular. And the books that
Exactly.
need the exposure
They don't.
don't.
So when I look at James Patterson, I don't personally think I think he's a brilliant guy, and he has written some good books, but he makes $95 million a year, and I'm looking at it going, I think he makes $95 million a year because his books are everywhere.
Right.
And if you're getting on an airplane and you need something to read, there's a Patterson book everywhere that you look.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily make him a better writer than a bunch of the other authors that are in Barnes and Noble.
No.
It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy for now. You are everywhere, so anybody that wants to pick up a book He's a Patterson.
Right.
Well, it's like McDonald's. They're not the best burgers out there,
No.
but they're the
Well-
same wherever you go. If ever you want one, you can turn around and get one.
Although I will say this, kudos to McDonald's. They're going to make a vegetarian burger now.
No kudos to McDonald's. I watched that movie, The Founder,
Oh,
about
yeah.
how that guy stole McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Madness.
No,
That
good.
family still makes no royalties on McDonald's.
That is crazy.
Welcome to business.
Yeah. Welcome to
Yeah.
the king.
Yeah, it's rough.
I mean, you do realize that almost every internet startup pushes out its founder at some point.
Really?
Yeah.
Heck.
Except for Facebook. Isn't that guy still reigning?
Well, he is.
I use
Martin-
reigning deliberately.
That's not true. Zuckerberg was pushed out.
Mm.
Really?
It turns out that the people that came after him didn't really understand the intricacies of running an internet business, and he fought his way back in.
Mm.
Yes, he was
Like Steve Jobs did.
right. So the fact
Sometimes the founder does come back.
back in
Very
is
rarely.
pretty unusual.
Right. But I will tell you this, Martin Eberhard, he's never coming back to Tesla. When Musk took it over, he made a
Wait,
car
so
company
Musk
that
didn't
could-
start Tesla?
Oh no, that was Martin Eberhard.
Wow, okay, so being the founder, like, it seems to be like a prophecy for doom. Speaking of prophecies,
Mm,
seems like the next guy always kind of gets your empire.
yeah. Although Steve Jobs did found Apple, him and Wozniak.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say you started a company and you're working 80 hours a week, and somebody comes along and says, Shay, I want to buy your company for $40 million.
hmm
What are you going to do? You'll say yes
Right.
and sell the company and walk away and buy yourself a nice big mansion and relax, and then suddenly watch the thing turn into $1 billion company.
I don't know. I've seen
Mhm.
enough Shark Tank episodes of people turning that down, that very same offer, you know? And they say they want to keep hold of that equity, turn down an offer from a shark. I've seen it.
Having worked in the internet startups, I will tell you that in general, the type of person who can build a startup up to a certain point is not the kind of person who can take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
I'll concur with that, because I've worked with enough startups to know that it's a completely different skill set
Yeah.
Mhm.
to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One is vision and just making stuff happen and figuring out how to innovate, and the other is a lot of deal making and a lot of politics and a lot of
Yeah. People skills.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you like Shark Tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that show. My
Oh,
brother
really?
used to love that show.
I think you'd like it.
Hmm.
That show was his favorite. He also loved Pawn Stars. You ever watch that show?
I did watch Pawn Stars, but I got annoyed at Pawn Stars because it was a History Channel show, because it had history. You know, it was like you're looking at artifacts, basically.
Mhm.
But the host, that bald guy, Rick Harrison, whatever, he always had this attitude like he could spit information about every single thing that comes through his story. Like he knew the background from the back of his hand. And it was all scripted. But he just, I don't know, he was always arrogant to me.
That's
I'm
called
sure he's a nice guy, but he looked like he was, you know.
I started watching the show The Tomorrow People. Have you guys seen this show?
Oh, dude.
It's on
You want to know what I
CW.
watched before Doctor Who? Was the Tomorrow People. I know that show. Na, 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 na.
No.
The
This
1970s
is
version.
on the CW. It's kind of
No,
like Jumper.
Because there were 3 versions of it. There was one that was the 1970s in the UK, one that was in the 1990s in Canada, and then of course the CW version, which was the reboot of that.
Well, it cracks me up because I just started watching this show, and I've watched like 4 episodes.
Oh,
And
I
every
loved it.
episode, they find a really good excuse for these muscular hunks to take their shirts off. They got to do it every episode.
That is
at
true.
least
They did
once,
have a lot
more
of
than
that.
once.
They did have that
And
lot.
it's
A lot of
like, let's have a little equal time.
that. Now, well, I will say that the pity. I really wish they had done a second season. It is just a shame. I think it was a good concept, a very interesting show. But I mean, the first time it ran for 7, the second time it ran for 3, and this time it ran for 1. There's
Yeah,
something
well,
there.
Tomorrow People is kind of a really dumb name.
Yeah, well, it is a dumb name. I mean, it's people with psionic powers, but they call them Tomorrow People. The guy that came up with originally was like, we're going to evolve into this, and so we're going to call them the Tomorrow People.
Yeah.
Damon Price. Yeah. But
another show that's on, it's streaming free on CW Seed. Both the show I'm going to mention and the Tomorrow People that Marty just mentioned. Forever, which was a 2014 show about an immortal, almost 200 years old, living in New York and solving crimes. And it has a nice season.
I'm writing it down. I'll check it out.
Yeah. The CW
I'll usually give every show 3 episodes. If it catches me in 3 episodes, I'll watch it.
Well, the nice thing about the Tomorrow People is they did have a little wink to the original series. There's a character that is played by the same actor that was in the original series, although he does not play a tomorrow person. So they did have that little wink, which was kind of cute for the folks that know.
Well, I can't say that I'm going to continue watching it.
That's fine. Don't do that. But I enjoyed it. So
I was intrigued because it was kind of like Jumper. What was what was that show, Dave, that I watched that you recommended?
Impulse.
Impulse. I really liked Impulse, the tone of that show and where that show went. It's kind of like that, but made for the young demographic that wants to see handsome men with their shirts off.
For our watchers, I should reference, when we keep talking about Jumper, we're talking somewhat about Jumper, the movie, but more about the book called Jumper by Stephen Gould, which is a pretty good YA science fiction book.
Right. I read that book at Dave's recommendation. It was really good.
Read the rest of the series?
No, I have not. My to be read pile is like so deep.
4 more books.
Oh man, somebody gave him Johnny Ringo to read.
Yep.
I got more recommendations behind those, man. I'm going to take up some of your time.
Yeah, this was a 4-book week, man. I read more this week or last week. I mean, because
I see David's secret plan. He's going to release. David here is going to release a whole bunch of things in 2021, and he's trying to slow you down, Marty. He's trying to slow you down.
Well, I've read pretty much everything that Dave's written so far.
Yeah.
I just got Dave's new release.
Oh yeah,
we can
Hardcover.
plug Dave's book.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Although it's in the living room, Brenda picked it up.
Very cool.
So I don't have a copy within reach. I have my Man from Uncle gun, but I don't have Dave's book.
No, man, be prepared. We're authors. Be prepared.
You should have one of my books next to them at any given time.
Exactly.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah. I mean, I have literally a couple.
I got Shay's book.
Hey, I beat you.
Oh
no.
I just got a Facebook memory of Shay's book.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
What did I do this time last year?
That wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago.
Oh, okay. All right. I was gonna say this time last year we were doing pretty much the same thing. Inside. Yeah. So which side was that for? That was for This Is Not a Love Scene, or?
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I can't believe that's been 2 years. Time-wise.
Yeah. No, I was always very proud of you, Shay. I wish I had contributed more of my thoughts for the book, because I only came to a couple of the ones where you were actually reviewing that. But
when I brought it to the writing group, you mean?
Yeah. But I enjoyed the chapters that I read. They were really good.
Yeah, you guys made a special exception for me to not have it be a sci-fi fantasy.
So, any progress on Overboard?
Yeah. So I got my my agent to send the illustrator, a letter, a formal letter with, what the DOEO is. And so that's exciting. We're moving forward with that. I got back my last betas. So I'm going to think about those and, incorporate some changes. And after that, it's going to go to a copy editor. And
yeah, that's a really fun book.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
I really enjoyed reading that one.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, you were one of my very brave beta readers. So I very, very appreciative of anyone who takes time to do that. It's a lot of work. I know it's a lot of work, but
yeah, I enjoy beta reading. I actually did two other beta reads in February because I was taking a month off from.
Yeah, so I got you at the right time then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good time. Good time. Plus,
great.
one of Stephanie's next book, I did a beta read for that,
Wow.
Yeah,
as well as Erica's fourth
Oh,
book in
good.
her series.
yeah.
I
absolutely.
did that one too. I really enjoyed Erica's. I think her book 4 is the best one so far.
Wow.
This is her fourth book, you said?
Yeah, this is the
Fourth book in that series.
Fourth book in the.
Yeah.
Do you know how many she plans to do?
Yeah. Say again?
Do you know how many she plans to have in that series?
4.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. It's
So it
okay.
pretty
It
much
was
buttons it up. Well,
Yeah.
as far as series get buttoned up, I mean,
Right.
you always go somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, she can always continue the characters if they're that popular.
So one thing interesting that I've been doing with Overboard is, I don't know if I ever said this on a podcast, but my intention when I self-publish, because this is what I did with my self-published book about the opioid crisis in America, 100% of those net profit goes to helping people with addiction. So what I want to do is anything I self-publish, I want it to have somewhat of a philanthropic mission to it. So with Overboard, I've been interviewing ocean conservancy charities.
Oh, I love them.
And it's been really cool. So I've been talking to I sent out maybe 8 emails, and the first round of elimination was who replies. Some of them didn't reply at all, and that tells me one thing, But so now I'm down to talking with a couple of them, and I'm asking them. I've already heard about their mission, and now I'm asking them questions like, can I use your logo? Can I tell people that the proceeds are going to your cause? How do I prove that the proceeds are going to your cause? The self-published author. So it's really cool to work with them, and it's going to have that component. So right now I've already chosen one charity is going to be this tiny little charity in Australia.
Wow.
That I chose because the guy replied right away, and he said, I don't know if you really want us because we're really small and we're really local and all these things, but I love Australia, and I connected right away. So
hey, and you can have an impact.
As a what?
For a really small organization is where you can have the greatest amount
That's
of
right.
impact.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right. So he's going to be one of them, and I might choose another one to accompany it. But
Travel to Australia.
I traveled there. Yeah, I traveled in 2014, I believe, to Australia.
Yeah, I've been to Australia too. I loved it.
It's the best.
Yeah. I only get to go to Scotland.
Well, look at your background. You have the New
Scotland's
Zealand.
beautiful. But I've never been to it.
David has the New Zealand background of Hobbit Town.
Well, that's true.
I've been there too.
Where is that?
The South Island. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I'd like to go to New Zealand. I'd like to take my wife to Australia and New Zealand if I could.
I would love to visit
ever
those
persuade her to get on a plane again.
Yeah.
Oh, is she not a big flyer?
She doesn't like flying,
Same with my mom. She
but she loves road trips.
I was gonna say the same thing. Mom would get in an RV and be gone for years.
See, now
I would drive to Scotland, but it's a little problematic.
Yeah. Well, there you go. But I mean, I like flying. I mean, I hate being cattle prodded into an airline seat. But put me in first class, I'd love it, but I can't afford first class.
I am mad that flying has not gotten faster in the years that it's been around.
Since Concorde stopped, yeah.
I know that they had that, yeah, but it was economically unfeasible or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm still pissed that I feel like in 2021 it shouldn't take 8 hours to get to Spain from DC. I just don't think it should take that long.
I don't care as much. I'm at the age and I make enough money that when I travel on a long flight internationally, I just go first class.
Well, keep in mind too, you're going against the jet stream. Coming back from Spain is faster.
True. I was very fortunate that because of my condition, being in a wheelchair, sitting in any seat, not just an airline seat, but even Marty's seat right there, sitting in that seat for more than 45 minutes is really painful and exhausting for my body. Because it just needs all of these weird supports. So sitting in a plane seat for 14 hours to Australia is almost murder. Wow. So I was very fortunate that some really kind people in the airline, hearing of my medical difficulties, they upgraded me to first class for free on Virgin Australia. so I could way down flat and be able to do it. So I don't think I would have been able to go without that.
Right,
So kudos to
right.
them. I don't know if they're even flying anymore, Virgin Australia. I know Virgin America is not, but
best pods are pretty nice.
it was very nice, very nice.
Probably the most comfortable I've ever been when I did an overnight flight, and just I don't really sleep on planes, but just having one of those pods, like all the way back and just lie down.
Oh yeah, I tried it once. I did two to the UK. I did first class, and then I slummed it back home. It was very nice, man. That's
nice. There's definitely more of a sense, just like in the movie Bridesmaids, the quote, there's more of a sense of community in Coach. So, there's a camaraderie in the muck and the pain.
I flew to Australia in Coach.
Camaraderie, baby.
And man, 21 hours in the air, 5-movie flight.
Wow.
And I had 2 elderly people between me and the aisle. So Marty was trapped in his seat.
Marty was
trapped. Not drinking many liquids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
That was a really fun trip. I landed in Sydney on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
okay.
Right. I got there at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So I took a cab straight to my hotel that was in a region of Sydney called King's Cross. And I, pulled up and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning and I went to check in. I knew I was going to be early and probably couldn't check in or whatever. And the guy said, look, last night was Valentine's Day. The hotel is 100% booked because of that.
Right.
But they were great. They said, look, we'll hold your luggage. Go out to King's Cross, find a nice restaurant, have, get a paper and a tourist map. And you can plan out a nice tourist day here in Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll hold your luggage. And when you get back, you'll be all set. Yeah. And that was my plan anyways. I wanted to stay up the entire day just to battle the jet lag thing and try to stay awake until like 9 p.m. local time. And the funny thing was, King's Cross, in that section of Sydney, I was clueless about everything. So it's like the morning after Valentine's Day, I'm walking down the sidewalk in beautiful like Georgetown area.
Yep.
And on the way to find a place to have breakfast, I got solicited by prostitutes about 6 times because it's legal there.
And it's Valentine's Day, or it's the day after Valentine's Day.
And they're so polite. Excuse me, sir, would you care for a lady? No, thank you.
Wow.
You got to be just as polite back, but it was great because I found a cafe that had a second level outdoor patio upstairs where I could sit there and just like watch King's Cross and have a wonderful breakfast and drink a metric ton of coffee and plan my day. It was big fun, huge fun trip.
Liquid jitters, yeah.
See, my Sydney, that was in Sydney, you said, right?
Yeah.
So my Sydney story, I arrived somewhere around you because that's like their summer around. And I remember I flew into Sydney and flew out of Sydney. And I had a great trip. I was there for 2 weeks. I checked all my boxes of what I wanted to do, see Ayers Rock, try kangaroo, crocodiles, all that stuff. But one thing I didn't check off was I hadn't tried emu. I wanted to eat emu. And so I asked the hotel person where I could get that. The only place they could recommend was a place that sold pizza with emu topping on it. And so I went alone. I was only like 18 at the time. I went alone to that pizza place. I saw a table that had like 3 men already sitting at it eating pizza. And uninvited, I rode up to the table and I said, "Hey, I'm going to join you." And they had, they're like, "Who the hell are you?" And it didn't really matter. I want pizza. I'm going to join you. And so I ordered pizza for the whole table, the emu pizza, and we had pizza together and we talked and it was great.
Cool.
And so that was
great story.
A daring day in Sydney.
Right, mind you, at the Fuddruckers, you can get ostrich burgers. Can't be that different. Ostrich, yeah. They're related to emu.
Emus are in the seal of Australia, I think. It's an
Oh,
yeah.
emu and a kangaroo.
You say Fuddruckers in Scotland. It has an entirely different meaning in Scotland.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Oh no, you evoked the Scottish accent.
Well, I had fun when I went to Australia. I was there for like a whole month, and I had a ton of time to myself every weekend because I was working during the week, but they were pretty short weeks because those guys down there are pretty much slackers. And the funny thing is, you'll get off a plane in Sydney, Australia, and you just go to the rental desk, and they will just give you the keys to a car that's got the steering wheel on the wrong side.
Really?
And not say a word. And the
Wow.
car that I had, not only was the steering wheel on the wrong side, it was a stick shift.
Right.
And man, that was fun. Driving on the wrong side of the road
Yeah.
and with a stick shift I'm shifting it with my left hand.
Right.
And
Right.
the
right.
weirdest thing of all is that the pedals aren't reversed.
No, exactly.
But,
Exactly.
but the indicators are. So I was constantly like turning my wipers on when I wanted to turn left.
No,
But it was really fun. I put 2,200 miles on my rental car that trip.
Wow.
It
Well,
was
I mean,
fun.
I was in the UK and I did the same thing. I rented a lorry, a car, and you know, I drove, and of course, all I said was love left, because left turns are easy in when you're driving in the UK.
Right, yeah, there are.
Well, after that trip, I came up with a theory. It was no problem at all for me to drive on the left.
Mhm.
And the reason why I think it was no problem at all is because I'm a really shitty driver.
Yeah.
I think that really shitty drivers have no problems with traffic circles that go the wrong direction in the wrong lane, which is the
Right.
most confusing thing in the known universe.
Right.
But it helps that you don't care.
Right. Clockwise.
So that trip was really fun. And it also helps. I would take these road trips. Man, I was working in Canberra, which is south of Sydney.
Hmm.
And I actually took road trips on weekends. I went all the way down the coast, all the way south to Melbourne. It was awesome. It was like, the beaches there and the untouched regions.
New
And the
South
really
Wales,
funny
lovely.
thing is I've got paper maps. I'm following a paper map. The main highway going south, it turns into a dirt road.
Hmm.
And suddenly you're on a dirt road. And they also have these things they call land trains. They're like these ginormous trucks that are like eight feet wider than a regular truck.
Hmm.
And they have 6 tractor trailers, one after
Right.
another, driving on a dirt road. That
Right.
you're also driving on.
Yeah. And you
That
get
was
out of their
fun.
way.
That was a huge amount of fun. And it was really great to do the bed and breakfast tour every weekend all over the place. It was huge fun.
Oh, one day I will get there in New Zealand. I've always said when I was a child that I would want to spend my summers, my summers in Scotland and my summers in New Zealand.
I've always wanted to see Spain, and I've always wanted to see Venice. So those are 2 things on my bucket list.
I've been to Venice. Venice is a lovely town. I've been there a couple times. Very nice. And Spain, you said?
Mhm.
Andalusia? Oh, I love Andalusia.
I'd like to go to Paris for the museums, for the history.
Oh, bien sûr, you must go because I lived
I'd
in
like
Paris.
I'd like to go to England just to, go to an English-speaking country that loves eating sausages.
Right,
I'm in.
right.
They do love their sausages. I'll give you that.
Yeah, they do love sausages.
One of my favorite is München. München in Bavaria. Oh, I love München. Munich to you guys. Oh, that's a lovely town. Very nice.
And the Ploughman's Breakfast in Scotland.
Mm.
Yeah, they have. There is a British pub in Northern Virginia that I love. It's called the Hunter's Head.
Oh, I've never been there.
Yeah, it's great. And you could go there and get bubbles and squeak and bangers and mash and whatever you want pub fashion.
It's an English
I
pub,
love that place.
not an Irish pub.
It's not an Irish pub. It's a British pub.
A British pub.
Right, right. Because the
I'm
Irish.
getting ready to go. an Irish pub coming up, St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, well, there's one that I
Trust
love
me, it'll be
going to
packed
up in
at
Great
Irish
Falls.
Day, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Brogue.
I just love the food there. It's like made for me.
So where's it at? Because I'll take my wife to a place like that.
Same.
Here I'll send you a link.
Yeah,
It's in
and we'll put the link in
Middleburg,
the
Virginia.
Okay.
Where?
Middleburg.
Middleburg. Okay, way out that way.
Oh
Got it.
yeah, that must be expensive then.
Because there's also
Oh
the
yeah,
tea
it is
shop.
pretty expensive,
There's a tea shop.
but it's worth it. It really is.
Every now and then, right?
In the summertime, they have a great outdoor seating area that's awesome. That's really beautiful.
We go to the Red Fox Inn in Middleburg for very
Mm.
special occasions.
But a little closer is the Old Brogue, which is Irish.
Oh, I love the Old Brogue.
The
Been
Old
there
Brogue,
many
though, very
times,
nice
many
place.
times.
Yeah,
They
and
got
still in
great
business.
slow taps. If you want stout, that's a good place to get it.
And still survived COVID. Yes,
There you go.
as well as the Ashburn Percival pub. Guy Kevin that runs it survived.
How do we get started talking about Australia and traveling?
I don't know, because we're drinking and we're thinking
Yeah,
about
I guess
both.
so.
Besides the fact that we're having fun and you guys are making me hungry, how long do we want to record this session?
Oh, right. Yeah.
I think we've
As long as
gone.
we want, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we can. I mean, Marty, you're the host. You tell me.
Well, we're going to keep drinking and we'll just
We're
let
gonna keep
you guys
drinking and
go.
talking, and if people
Yeah.
want to, keep watching,
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
here.
care.
We're
Whatever.
here. We're here.
It's really interesting thing about these podcasts. It's more like because I miss hanging out with my friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
miss seeing people in person.
it's the
I'll let
best way to do that thing.
I'll let
especially
the
I'm in the
audience
house.
know our secret, which is that when we stop recording our podcast every Tuesday night, usually we stay on for another like 2 hours. I don't
Chatting
know when we
more.
started doing that. We started doing that like, I don't know, 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Just staying on talking about, crap. So now
Oh,
we're
yeah.
just talking about crap and you have to listen to us. That's
Right.
Yeah, one of these days I'm going to have a happy hour episode, and I'm going to be broadcasting from my phone out on the deck having a cigar.
I'll be with you
Nice.
in person, having this car as well.
Nice.
So
Well,
we'll do
because
it
you'll be
together.
vaccinated. You are vaccinated, so there you
I am
can.
vaccinated. I'm ready to hug people. I know that people are not ready to hug me though. So, I'm being sulking and being very
Well,
impatient.
when I'm vaccinated, I will give you lots and lots of hugs.
All right, good. You got
I'll hug you without a vaccination.
Hey,
I'm
there you
in.
go.
I'll
Good.
risk it.
All right, you're
Mhm.
worth it. You're worth it.
Some things are worth the risk.
My
Right.
brother. Amen.
hmm I just
Yeah.
can't wait to see what that thing called sun is.
Yeah, it's been pretty cold here. I don't know about you, Marty, but I'm not dared to go out.
It's been kind of warm here. We don't have any more snow. It's going to be 61 tomorrow and sunny.
Wow.
Mm.
So that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
Today it was only like 48. So
Yeah.
it wasn't that warm.
Yeah, the dogs. Love this weather.
The dogs what?
The dogs love this weather.
Yeah.
Mm.
They're outside on the deck sunning themselves today.
Oh,
Very nice.
That's good. That's good.
very cool.
It's actually, it's interesting, Dave. I'll probably want to pick your brain at some point because we're planning on getting a dog one day, and I'm planning on fencing an area in this summer in my backyard. An aesthetic fence. I don't want it to be a fence like chain link or any of that crap.
I don't
But
believe
I
it.
want it to contain a dog so that I
Mhm.
can just let the dog out the backyard and give him some, place to run around and be silly and stuff.
Right. And then have lots of landmines that you got to watch out for.
I know at your place, you got a pool in your backyard. Dogs must love that.
Mm.
It's a big drinking bowl. I don't
Yeah.
actually have water dogs.
Yeah.
If I want a dog to swim in the pool, I got to have my brother bring his lab over.
Mm. Yeah, labs do love the water. They do indeed.
Cute.
Cats, not so much. Labs, definitely.
One of them has been a partial water dog, and
Mhm.
that was a 130-pound dog that liked to go in and sit in the pool.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The second step wraps around as a bench, and he would just go in and sit on that bench, happy as a clam,
Mhm.
for half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour at a time,
Yeah.
nice and cool.
Hey,
To drink whenever he wants, and
Don't
just
blame him.
me too, except
Yeah.
for the drinking part.
And plus, when he got older, I think the cooler water felt good on his joints and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Cute little thing.
Mhm.
So how's the podcast like doing? Like, are we getting views? Like, are we famous yet? What's the?
We're getting views.
Nice.
You know,
We love
I
you,
don't really
viewers.
care, so I don't really watch the stats that close.
Right.
We do appreciate everyone who's viewing us right now.
Yes.
Thank you, viewers.
If you're still here watching us, we love you, man.
Man,
We love you, man.
we want a beer with you. Come to our next podcast.
Yeah, please do.
Well, I'm not being funny. I appreciate the fact that we have people watching us.
Oh yeah.
I you know, the happy hours are kind of a special occasion. It's us talking about anything that interests us, and sometimes talking about science fiction. But we do try to make the rest of the episodes pretty information dense in terms of useful content.
Yeah, we hope you're learning something.
Oh,
We hope that you're writing. We hope that you're,
I feel
getting
like
stuff out of it.
I feel like I've been learning stuff from just doing the podcasts.
Yeah, just talking. I agree. That's
But-
good.
Yeah, I just found out this week that I'm giving a talk on 13th of March
Oh wow.
about audiobooks.
Very good.
And,
Yeah,
I'll give you guys the link for that so you can actually attend if you like.
Thank you.
And
Unfortunately
so
for
that
you
should be
poor
fun.
viewer, that has already occurred. But
you're very knowledgeable about audiobooks. That's a good fit.
oh
Well,
yeah,
It's it should be fun. It's gonna be like an hour talk and then questions after.
Very
They have
cool.
free forum and stuff via Zoom. I think
Mhm.
that it could be very could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I can't drop the F-bomb, so I got that.
oh yeah.
Got to be careful about that.
Mhm,
No
mhm.
editing that out, huh?
make sure it's recorded and you get a copy of the recording.
Yeah, and if it goes on YouTube, make sure you put a link to it to the video here.
Oh, that's a good idea. If I do get a copy of it, I can toss it up here. I'm sure that it's one of the writers group right by the rails that I was a member of in Manassas
All right.
is sponsoring this. It's like a mini conference because
Mhm.
they can't all get together now, so they wanted to do it. And in previous years, I had given talks at the in-person conferences, which I always love doing. It's
I hope to do again in 2022.
yeah, I know. I really miss meeting people.
Yeah, I know.
Book people that are interested in books and reading books and
Well, I read that Texas just totally opened up, like 100%.
yeah, that just happened today, and that was a result of some study that happened. I understand that was published in Newsweek mid-January or whatever.
Well, he said that he's doing they're able to pump out like 1 million vaccines a week there. So that's
Wow.
incredible.
So that's all good news. I'm looking forward
I'm proud
to
of
when that happens in Virginia and the rest of the planet.
Yeah.
Then we can get back to having conferences and book
Right.
signings.
We're gonna go all out, aren't we, Marty? We're gonna do
and a
twice as
lot
many-
more hugs, damn it.
Twice
Yes,
as many as we
indeed.
usually
More
do.
hugs. We need more hugs. But I will say this, one thing that we can be proud of as Americans, we are pretty much the #1 country that is vaccinating people. We have our up ramp that
Bless
is
you, David.
may better than almost any other country.
That's great. That's great.
After we got to a very, very slow start.
Exactly.
I don't know. I was sitting here talking to Brenda today, and we were looking at where we were a year ago today,
Mm-hmm.
when this whole thing was just starting to catch fire.
Yeah. And they're just
And-
sending us home.
In retrospect, to think that we went from, is this really going to be a problem, to
A vaccine.
having a vaccination
Less than a year.
that's a 95% effective in less than a year?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That is very.
No, that
That's
is.
crazy good.
We had this whole thing sequenced in January.
Yeah.
The virus was sequenced back then. I put a post on timehorse.com about it.
Yeah.
And I put a post recently about vaccine and how we're using this new technique about RNA vaccines
Definitely.
that are just so fascinating. And all because we sequenced it, we figured out what this protein coat was, we took that RNA and we put it in a vaccine.
Right.
Bam, in a year.
Let me qualify what I said. being able to get a vaccine, quite frankly, in I think 8 or 9 months is phenomenal. That is a major breakthrough of tremendous proportions.
Yeah, it's historic,
Oh yeah.
especially with how divisive the universe has been in the last year and all that. Amidst all that chaos, it still managed to happen. So that's all good.
Yeah. Now I'm less impressed with the speed of the rollout of the vaccine, especially as we started the process. I will say it's speeding up steadily and significantly, which is a good sign that people are getting their act together, regardless of where they fall on the political spectrum.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but the poster child for doing the vaccinations properly is probably Israel.
Mm.
It is, yeah.
Israel pretty much locked it down and showed everybody else how it probably should have been done.
Right. Well, New Zealand too. I mean, New Zealand's been very persnickety about it because they got rid of the virus completely from the island.
Action adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I imagine that science fiction authors are gonna, in the future,
Right about this.
write about these days. And you know, my next novel, not the one I'm working on now, the next novel is going to be a time travel thing. And I'm actually considering, you know, because originally it was going to be set in 2010. That's where my outline has it set. But I might set it in the chaos of 2020.
Right.
Just to increase the, you know, chaos that's going on with the 12 monkeys, you know, kind of like crap that's happening. It's a very interesting time.
Also, I think that your hero sometime in the novel should find and rescue the original print of Citizen Kane.
I'm on board with that.
I love it. I love it. Find where the
You know, I bet some entrepreneur is going to use some kind of digital enhancement AI program to go through and completely, you know, manipulate every frame of the entire movie and make it super ultra 4K or 8K or 12K, whatever the hell it's going to be at the time. That's going to make me buy another TV and make my wife mad at me again.
Alrighty, stuff, man. Stuff.
I spent money on my home theater than I've ever spent on electronic equipment before in my life, and my wife was like, you know, you've waited this long to have a home theater, you should get what you want.
Oh, that's nice.
That's a good wife.
I always wanted to put a home theater in my basement.
In my new house, I got an 80-inch, you know, 4K TV, and I love it. It's like the best. And the coolest thing about it is my wife loves it too. And in my old house, I had a home theater that was 1080p or whatever it was at the time. And I got this 4K big, huge ass TV, and I had a mere 55-inch 1080i TV in my bedroom. And my wife immediately said, Marty, go buy another 4K TV.
Brenda's a smart woman.
Yeah, so I got another 55-inch one that's wonderfully mounted on my wall in the bedroom with no cables visible.
I love it. I love it. Very cool.
Yeah, the wild thing is, one thing I love about those TVs is that I've integrated them with my home automation. So I can just, you know, tell my Alexa to turn the TV off, and it does. I love that.
Right.
You know, you could say, Alexa, mute TV, and it mutes it.
Yeah,
I love that.
Mine does too.
The one,
the Fire Stick.
I love living in the future.
Yeah, I saw a meme on Facebook. They showed pictures of all of the advanced technical things from Star Trek. And then the year that it actually came out, you know, communicators and medical electronic devices and stuff. And I think the only thing we don't have that they showed in Star Trek is we don't have a transporter, we don't have a faster than light drive, and we don't have a phaser.
yet.
Everything else, you pretty much have seen.
It's really interesting. You can actually buy a prop realistic communicator that's Bluetooth that will connect to your cell phone, and you can
Wow.
make calls and talk to
Oh,
Alexa
that's nice.
stuff
That's
on
nice.
your communicator.
But there's all that.
I kind of
now
want
for
one of
retro.
those, but I don't know yet.
Good old iPod from 2006. Sometimes retro is kind of cool. Just saying.
Hey, I still got my Zune.
I have an iPod. I'm not quite sure what to do with it. I think I need to upgrade it, but
Well, there is a game I play, Zoom, on this thing. It's a little playing game. It's a game station now. But it has my information.
One of these days I'm going to play a computer game and it's going to completely destroy my productivity.
Don't.
One of these days.
The only game I play pretty much, even though I love Diablo, in fact, I'm working on Deckard Cain cosplay right now. Looking forward to that. Love that game, Diablo. But the only game that I play these days, Sudoku. I just do some Sudoku. I'm bored. I do a little Sudoku, clear my mind. Bob's your uncle.
I don't know. If I look at game stuff, after Queen's Gambit, I keep looking at chess stuff.
Chess is good. It's a good game to learn.
Yeah, I want to play chess. My wife doesn't play chess, so I
Neither
don't have the opportunity. I used to play chess all the time with my son, and it was a lot of fun, especially when he started beating me.
You can play with me. I love to play chess.
That's cool. That's
There
a
you
great
go.
idea. I'd love
There
to
you
get,
go.
I'd love to get humiliated by Shay. That would be awesome.
I'll give you the app. We can play on our phones until we
Oh,
meet in
yeah.
person.
There
Oh,
you
let's do that. That'd
There
be
you go.
fun.
I was going to say, I was aware of things like chess.com and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
where you can play matches, and it actually records the matches too.
Mm,
You can go over them again afterwards and stuff.
right.
It's funny. I used to play Monopoly online with my brother and a couple of friends. And the really eerie, weird thing about that is my brother and both of the other friends I played with are all dead.
Ooh.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is.
I blame Monopoly.
No, but I play a lot of games these days too. There's this game night I do on Fridays where we go to BGA, Board Game Arena, and Yucata and Meeple, and we just play games together. We got a Discord channel, and we, maybe do Tunes and Taxis or Welcome to, or all these nice little games that are coming out of Germany and whatnot. Pretty fun.
It's interesting. For Christmas this year, I got cribbage
Really?
to play cribbage with my wife. And my parents used to play cribbage all the time and really enjoyed it. And we're having a hell of a time learning how to play cribbage.
Haha.
I got to find somebody that knows how to play cribbage
Right.
and will teach us how to play in person, because watching YouTube videos, I'm just not getting it.
Right. I have a bunch.
Instead.
No, I will say I have a bunch of. I have the entire Cyanide and Happiness, Joking Hazard. I have the trolley game. I have nobody to play with COVID. I want to play some trolley game. I want to play some, Joking Hazard. But
The honest truth is that games were mostly a casualty of my writing career.
That's true.
Yeah, the
Games
same
and
here.
television.
Games have all fallen by the wayside. It's interesting. The thing that is the most different is I used to watch a lot more movies than I watch anymore. And because it used to be my only thing, but now, writing is the major.
Right.
Yeah, writing's better because it's interactive, right? Or you're actually propagating the action. Movies are very passive, so I actually have found that I don't have the patience so much to watch as many as I used to.
No, in fact, most. David, go ahead.
So what I found is like I have a day job which kind of pays the bills,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that having dinner and then watching like an episode of some show
Right.
makes what I call kind of a palate cleanser. Like I get out of the day job mode to get into writing mode.
I get that.
I need a little bit of that transition in
Mm.
order to make the switch smoothly.
Yeah.
So
There's nothing like press and play on Netflix with a full plate of food.
a 40 minute to 55-minute episode makes a good transition, and so I find myself going through series like an episode a day.
That's a good way of doing it. I will say this, for me, it's been sort of this arc of hour-long dramas, half an hour stuff for the old Doctor Who days, and then hour-long dramas. And now it's like, I just want to watch some YouTube or the 15-minute videos. I just want to be in, out, done, move on.
But I'm also fascinated by some other stuff. So as an example, a lot of content. Well, okay, let's back up. There are an awful lot of streaming services, and they're all hungry for content.
Oh, they are.
In fact, they have to have good content,
Mm-hmm.
cool content, because if they don't, people leave.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a thing where people get rid of the services or they get a service because of a particular show, and when there's nothing else that's good enough, they leave.
Mm-hmm.
So these organizations, I mean, they are licensing all kinds of content.
Yep.
There's a new Middle Earth series coming out. Books are being optioned right and left because it turns out Hollywood folks aren't typically good at doing fantasy plots with the necessary world building, but you can buy that if you license the proper book series.
Right.
So I'm interested in kind of the new art form of the limited series, which is basically a novel-length character arc over 6, 7, 8, 12 episodes.
Right.
Plus movies, plus all the different TV shows that they've got.
Right.
Potential in the future for us as writers.
Yeah.
I just watched the BBC edition of War of the Worlds that takes place in like 1905. It's really kind of a steampunk kind of War of the Worlds edition, and it is really, really well done. The special effects are great. The actual period piece of it is really great. The acting, the characters, the settings are all really good. I highly recommend that series.
Very cool.
I think that's on Prime.
Even better because I have Prime.
It's on Prime or Netflix. I can't remember.
Well, I have Prime, I have Netflix, I have Verve, I had HBO Max, I have Disney Plus, I have Apple TV Plus.
Yeah, I'm shudder to think how many I have now. It's like, and we just got Disney Plus, which is awesome.
Oh, I love my Disney Plus. Apple TV Plus, meh, Snoopy, but meh.
And the best thing is, as writers, it's an expense.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually have not, put that as an expense yet for authoring.
Creative.
Maybe I should. I don't know. I should talk to my accountant about that.
Exactly. Talk to the accountant. And I want to know what your
HBO Max, man, this weekend I started binge watching Johnny Quest. I love that.
Oh yeah.
That is great. I love that as a kid. The science fiction plots. Boy, the future isn't what it used to be.
Oh no. Well, see, I'm shameless. I'm rewatching Aqua Teen Hunger Force and Robot Chicken. Shameless.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Yeah, it's great. They got all the original Looney Tunes. I'm on season like 22.
Wow. I watched the entire.
They've got the original Scooby Doo. Where are you? They've got Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
That's my trifecta of cartoon goodness on Saturday mornings.
Absolutely. Well, and I watched the entire Big Bang Theory.
So back to writing for a minute. I find myself taking a few of my stories and trying to craft them as stories that could be adapted into a film or a short film or something like that on a small budget. So the Whispering Voice and Unlikely Hero, which I just published, both fall into that category of things that could be filmed, speculative fiction, but on a low budget.
Yeah, I think Unlikely Hero would make a great movie.
Oh,
it really would.
It really would.
It would make a great movie. It would be
a great story.
Good on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And it would not cost that much to produce either.
Of course, yeah.
That was sort of an intention of it. Was I wanted to do something that had a fantasy element, but not an over the top fantasy element.
Yeah.
So here's your assignment: find yourself an agent to represent this book in Hollywood,
And sell
and
it.
then teach
Yeah.
me how to do that.
Yeah. There you go. We share. It is your job to figure out how to
That's
do that.
right.
and then teach us
Somebody's
all.
got to be the first one through that jungle,
Mhm.
so the rest of us can follow you.
He's got better contacts in that realm than we do. Shay?
Yeah.
Am I still muted?
No.
No,
Okay,
no.
good. I got better contacts in the film world, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. You want to talk? I have a finder's fee.
Haha.
No, I'm kidding.
You know, the interesting thing is about all that, you know, if I got one of my properties produced into a movie or a miniseries, I wouldn't mind paying finder's fees
Yeah.
or giving an agent a cut of it.
But what does David always say?
Where's the money flow?
Where the money needs to
Money
flow back
flows.
to.
You should flow to the writer. Yes.
That's right.
So paying a finder's fee, I think, would go against your philosophy, wouldn't it, David?
No.
Because it's a
You
net
only get
flow.
your fee if I get paid.
Yeah.
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 Money's
Okay.
flowing towards the author.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. I
don't
mean,
know
you
if
buy.
finder's fees work like that in the film industry.
Yeah. But it's kind of like this. You buy a cover. You don't get anything from the cover except you get to use the cover on your book. It's
Yeah.
an expense.
A service.
Yeah.
I expect
It's not an expense, it's an investment.
True. True.
But I expect to pay for services. That's somebody I'm hiring to do something for me, and I expect to pay for that.
Mm.
But as a business decision, I expect to get a return on that investment, or I'm not going to make that investment.
Right. And the
Right.
finder fee is a chunk of the money you get. So
Right?
it's
So I might pay $100 for a cover for the right short story or novel.
Mhm.
$1,000.
a few hundred bucks for a good cover, it'll sell your book. It's very important. Don't skimp on that. Watch our episode.
Must have a good cover. Covers are a pain.
So, have we happy houred long enough, guys?
I think
Yeah.
we're
If you enjoyed this entire, this is going back to the old days when we used to do these an hour long.
good.
You still have bourbon left, Marty?
I do.
I still got
Not
some
my
left.
glass,
Well,
but
I
I still
you
have
know,
the
I
hydrogen
keep
hydroxide.
myself to 2 and I've already had 3. So,
Mm.
but
No.
my face hasn't turned red like it normally does with this stupid camera.
Oh yeah, it's worked pretty well this day. Cool.
Yeah, and this background looks realistic.
Oh, it does. It
It
really, does.
yeah,
For a virtual background, it's pretty good.
Right.
so
Right.
maybe next time I'll just use my actual library as a background. You don't social.
Yeah. Well, it's appropriate. We are talking about writing.
Well, cool. It's another great episode, guys.
Yep,
Good to
another
see you.
finely structured.
That'll be it for us this week.
All right.
We'll see you again next week when we have an actual topic.
Absolutely.